Well, hello, and welcome to TV Toastmasters. I'm your host for this segment. I'm Joan Lubar from Toastmasters for Speaking Professionals, and I'm delighted to be here with you tonight. Our guest tonight is Michele Joy, and just like her name says, she's a joyful person, and we're going to learn a lot about her tonight. We're also going to hear about her brand new book, Thrive and Shine, and you'll find out how she became so joyful over time. So let's welcome our guest tonight, Michele Joy. Well, good evening, Michele. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
I've known you for a while now and just found you so delightful. I was delighted that you could come and be one of our guests on this segment.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is an absolute joy.
Well, good. I think I've heard that word before.
Yeah, right.
Yes, well, we're going to talk about that.
Good.
But first, we're going to find out a little bit about you. Tell me a little bit. Let's see, where are you from originally, and how long have you been in Oregon?
Well, I grew up in Denver, and I was the black sheep of my family, the youngest of 6. So I moved away when I was 18 because I just didn't like Denver. So I moved to Portland about 25 years ago, and it was then that I really started to blossom and find myself. So it's a huge, long journey, but it really started with this big, massive family in Denver, and then I ended up here in Portland and found my home. So I love it here. Yeah.
Well, what made you choose Portland in the first place?
You know, I love the big leaves. I couldn't get over how beautiful, you know, when you grow up in Denver where everything's brown. And I came here right before the election of Clinton, which is crazy. That's how long ago it was. And I came and there's these massive leaves in South Park blocks. And I just was like, this is amazing. So it really, I love the forest. I love the rain. I know it's kind of crazy. I love the rain. And it's just home for me. So.
Well,
yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
And Denver certainly doesn't have the kind of rain we have.
No,
that's for sure.
But they do have thunderstorms, which are super cool. Love the thunderstorms, but
a little lightning.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Michele, tell me, what were you doing when you first came here?
You know, I started working at the Marriott. So I worked in customer service, and I did that for several years, and then I became a nurse. And it was in nursing that I fell in love with people, and I found that I had a talent, like I was good at something. Before that, I didn't, you know, I was flailing like a lot of people, and I didn't know that I had any gifts. And truly, it was by my nursing career where I realized I love helping people. I became obsessed with caregiving and helping people. But then I started to get into this place of, I want to help people actually live and not die. And I know you may have known I stopped in hospice. I was a hospice nurse.
Right.
And it was in that place that I really experienced where I want to experience life fully, and I want to teach people how to do that. And so that's really where I end up here today, is to help people see that they need to live, because we're all going to die. So we may as well find a place to find that joy now.
So if I hear you right, the whole goal of living is actually to live every moment, to actually make each moment count.
Right. But from a deep internal place, you know, when we actually connect with who we really are, which is also my passion, we see that life is here to serve us, and it doesn't always have to be hard. And again, working with the dying, working with the sick, I saw people who were suffering really traumatic injuries or chronic health, but yet they felt this joy because it was within them. And it was just made me realize, our joy is not something that's outside of us, right?
Absolutely.
It's something that's inside. And when you see that life is a magical experience that is always happening for you, it's just amazing. So
that, I love that idea, life happening for you, not life happening to you.
Right.
And I think that's just a wonderful concept to live by.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got started in doing, I guess it would have been personal development. You know, what do you do with this joy of living? What do you do with loving being with people and wanting to make a difference for them? So how did you go about making those changes?
Well, it first started through meditation, and I had a spiritual awakening through meditation. And this all started after my divorce, which is a lot of my book's about, is how I came from a traumatic ending of a marriage, of a life, really. It was the end of a life. And I decided I couldn't live this lie anymore. I needed to know who I was. So through meditation, I really connected with who I really was. But again, that was coupled with the patients that I was working with, when I was seeing this authentic, really presence of people. Because when you're in the hospital, you're so authentic. And I love that people were real and raw. And I was a night nurse, so I got to get into people's hearts when they were at the most needy. But when I had my divorce, I had that moment of being the most needy. And so it was in that place where I really felt that the answer is always within. And the answer is through compassion for others. The answer is through service. And so when I started to meditate and working with the patients and going through my own trauma, I recognized that I can help people with connecting with that internal joy through just, self-love, and with listening to the signs of the universe. I also saw this whole, through law of attraction. I teach the law of attraction, which I'm really passionate about, because a law of attraction, it means we're an attraction-based universe, right? And so when people find their joy, they attract all of this great stuff to them. And they don't need to have the perfect health or the perfect relationship or all the money in the world to bring them that joy. It truly is an internal job. And because it was, again, my own journey and seeing my patients, I really got to a place of understanding that happiness is an internal job. And once you connect with that, that's when life gets great.
That's very interesting. I think so many people are always looking to be happy rather than enjoying the happiness of the moment.
I know.
And it's really quite sad, because they tend to always look for the negative as opposed to what do they really have, and be grateful for the many, many gifts we've been given. Even the gift of divorce can turn into the most wonderful. Well, for you, actually, it really helped you move forward and realize that life's about inside rather than outside.
And I find that people who go through suffering are actually, it's a gift. I never see suffering as a problem. It's a gift, because what happens is when you suffer so much, especially people really go through hard suffering, you get through that and you push through the other end, and there's this whole calmness. It's just it's so amazing. I had one of the most amazing stories I had as a patient who was shot accidental through a hunting accident when he was 18, shot in the face. And I met him when he was 45, a quadriplegic, had a voice box to talk, and had a tube feeds. He had to be turned every 2 hours, completely dependent on his care for his entire life. And he was the happiest person I met. It was just the most mind-blowing thing. And it wasn't, because what he realized, it is that getting past that suffering and that living is love. It's truly just loving one another. He was so grateful for his family. He was, he joked with us nurses. I was feeding him, and he was so grateful that someone was there to care for him and give him love. And that truly is the message, right?
Yes.
It's if you suffer, you find more compassion for others.
Well, I think it's just wonderful to be able to use everything that happens in your life as an opportunity to grow, to change your life, to evolve, to know what's really important. And I think you said it earlier too, that it brings you back inside rather than expect all your joy to come from outside of you.
Right.
Because then it's not long lasting.
It isn't. Yeah.
And now another thing I know you're very passionate about is the law of attraction.
Yes.
And how did you get exposed to that?
I got exposed to law of attraction because I hated dating. So when I was single, I was like, I don't like this dating thing. Like, I want someone to come to me. And I had a friend, she told me about law of attraction. And she's like, oh, you just visualize and imagine this great partner, and then they'll just magically show up. And it happened to her. And I'm like, oh, I want part of this. I want easy, right? Who doesn't want easy when it comes to dating, especially? And so I found out about it because of that. But what happened, Joan, was it opened me up to a whole life that I did not expect, because law of attraction is about taking responsibility for your life. Yes. And it helps you really tap into, like, I'm no longer a victim to my situation. I'm in control of my situation, because how I think is how I will manifest. So then I go, oh, so if I just start thinking of what I want and doing affirmations and doing visualizations and also getting deep and going, okay, what is blocking me? And getting real. And so it was, to me, law of attraction is the most efficient way to be happy, because when you know that you have control of your life, there's nothing stopping you now except for you. And so you go, oh, okay, today I didn't do it right. That's okay. I'm just going to start, focusing on what I want and start reading positive things and start negating those things that aren't working for me. Stop having those negative conversations. You have control right now. You start visualizing what is possible. You start knowing it's possible. It's amazing.
It's what a wonderful way to live.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. I've lived with that myself, and you've said it so perfectly, because it really is all about realizing and taking responsibility for your actions, your thoughts.
Right.
And we do control our own thoughts.
Yes.
Hard as that is sometimes.
I know. And and always be forgiving of yourself on those bad days. That's the thing I always tell people, because I'm also a happiness coach, right? And I always tell people, you know what, I'm not expecting you to be happy all the time. That's impossible. But what you need to do is be okay with every emotion. So when you're having a bad day, just put your hand to your heart and say, it's okay. It's okay. And that is the most loving thing you can do for yourself.
So in terms of that, excuse me, tell us a little bit about your book and how that came about, because it's Thrive and Shine. And obviously you've gone through a lot of different things, and now you're taking that to a different level and teaching people what you've gone through and how to thrive and then be that person that shines.
Right. And so the book title, it's actually a really an interesting story, because when my marriage ended, my ex-husband ended our marriage, and so I really felt like I could thrive once I got through, and I did. So that's what that's about.
Well, that's great. Yeah. Okay, so Michele, tell us a little bit about how people can contact you, how they can get more information and find out more about what you're doing.
Well, you can find my book on Amazon, and also you can go to my website at michele-joy.com. That's michele-joy.com.
Okay, that's wonderful. Yeah. Well, I really want to thank Michele for coming tonight. This was just an amazing interview. I think she has a lot to offer everybody, and you know how to reach her if you choose to do that. Again, I'm Joan Lubar. I'm from Toastmasters for Speaking Professionals, and I wish you the best.
Hi, and welcome to TV Toastmasters. I'm your host. My name's Deb Hart. I'm the founder of Pink Sisters, and I belong to the Gresham Toastmasters. If you're looking for a great club, come join us. Today, I have a special guest with me. She's a board member of Pink Sisters. Her name is Shannon Hacker. She lives right here in Gresham. You will love what she has to say. Welcome, Shannon.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Who is Shannon Hacker? Can you share who you are? And
Sure. First and foremost, I'm a mom of 4 kids.
Yes, you are.
4 beautiful kids, and a wife, a daughter, an aunt, all those things, sister, and I have a wonderful job that I've been working at for over 20 years. It fulfills me. I get a lot of energy from doing that.
Nice.
And I'm a breast cancer survivor.
A breast cancer survivor. Boy, I've heard that over and over and over again in the work that I do.
Yeah.
So can you share with the viewers how we met?
Sure. There was a Facebook post actually asking if there was anybody who'd be interested in being in a book called Beauty After Breast Cancer. And it was to really highlight our journey and how everyone's journey can be very different. They did pictures to show the different types of surgeries that people have, or and we could tell our stories. And so you and I were both in that, and you invited all of us who participated to come to one of your retreats, and I got to come to Pine Hollow and meet you, and yeah, that was the beginning. That was the beginning, yeah.
And then I sucked you into the organization, didn't I?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. You just wanted to give back.
I did.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, you inviting me to have coffee and just kind of talking about what you guys did, doing the calendar, the fundraising for the group. And it was an amazing retreat. And meeting those women, other women who were sharing a similar journey that I was having. I mean, they were very different, but we all could relate to kind of what you're going through, how so many people in our lives don't quite understand, and making those connections, it really kind of, it changes you. I walked away feeling stronger, and it was definitely one of those turning points after I kind of finished my surgery and reconstruction, and I thought, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And I have a support system.
You do have a support system. Yeah. And you not only volunteer for me with Pink Sisters, but you volunteer with a couple of other organizations too. And I think that's just awesome. You know, it's a small community, but really in the big scheme of things, it's a big community.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we are strong all together.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah. Thank you again for, being a part of Pink Sisters. How many years have you been on my board now?
I think, is it about 3 or getting close to 3?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little, maybe close to 4. That's right. Because I had just, we're coming up on 4. We've done, 3 big events with you, a few retreats, just meeting so many amazing people.
Yeah. We have the Christmas ships coming up next week.
Yes.
So,
I love that event.
Yeah. Another one of those great events that we get to do.
Yeah.
I just have to ask you, so where are you at with your breast cancer journey?
I'm 4 years out from my diagnosis.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm actually going back in to do a new reconstruction. I have a lot of pain. I experience a lot of pain anytime that I do any sort of lifting. I mean, it could be very just carrying a chair, a Christmas box, whatever that could be. Because the implants are underneath the muscle, which is what they tend to do when you do reconstruction, there's so much pressure. And so I'm tired of pain. I'm going to go back in February, and they're going to redo them, try something new, and hopefully that will kind of reduce the discomfort I've been in. But for me, the journey's never ending.
I've heard that over and over again, and I totally agree with you.
Yes. Even though, at this time the doctor says I'm healthy, I keep going in for my checkups every 6 months. You never know what's going to happen. Someday it could come back, and if it does, it's going to be even more difficult to deal with.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to get people to understand that you're kind of walking around wondering and waiting. I mean, I'm doing great. I'm living my life. I'm not letting it hang over my head. I've got an amazing family, a wonderful husband, and I want to be around spending time with them for many more years.
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. So, Shannon, what is the legacy that you would want to leave, after having breast cancer and dealing with, all that you've dealt with? What would the legacy be? What would that look like for you?
For me, it's just about relationships. It's about giving back. There were so many people that were there for me when I was diagnosed. I had a neighbor step forward and really just be someone who connected with me. She checked in with me all the time. She sent me text messages. She knew when I had my appointments and would contact me in the morning. my aunt was there to support me because she fought for 20 years, and she was on the phone saying, "Hey, how are you doing?" Listening to me. So many women who've reached out, and you, and all of the support you've given to all the women who are coming in and doing the retreats. I want to do that. I want to give back. I want to be there when people need me, even if it's just a shoulder to cry on. And my friends and family know that they can contact me and say, "Hey, so-and-so was just diagnosed. Would you be willing to talk to them?" Yes, I would love to. I'd be happy to. I just to listen, just to hear, so that they know that there's somebody else that knows what they're going through.
And we say it all the time, listening skill is so important in this journey, because us breast cancer patients, we just want to tell you how we're feeling. And sometimes that's tearful, sometimes that's anger, sometimes that's pain. But most of the time, we are scared to death, not knowing.
Yeah.
And we don't want to rely on the neighbor or the friend or the family member or the husband, because they don't know how to comfort us. But someone who's gone through it has gone through it. And so we turn towards them for hoping, for comfort.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So what do you see in the next 2019? I mean, other than some recuperation, of course, because you are going to, go back through and do more surgery, reconstruction. But, what do you see in 2019? What would you hope for?
I'm definitely ready to put this year behind me.
It's been a tough one.
It has been
Shannon.
hard.
You've had a lot of grief.
Cancer, yes. Cancer's taken 3 family members for me in a year's time. I'm ready. I've done some healing. I'm going to do some physical healing myself, but continue on the emotional healing also. And be with my family. That's important to me. And to continue volunteering. I think Pink Sisters is bringing so much to the community.
Thank you.
The women that I talk to and meet and build these relationships with, I'll be in communication with them probably for the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah.
We can lean on each other. Yes.
Sisterhood.
Yes, we lean on each other.
Really strong.
Yes.
Big, huge bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are so many women that are in my life now that I never would have met.
I say that too.
I'm very thankful for that. I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Me
are one
too.
of them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
not just you, but it's your family, that I've gotten to know. And losing Gail as a breast cancer survivor, I got to know Gail too. She came to a retreat. She was in the photo shoot and the calendar, and and Gail's been gone now. So again, not everyone gets to make it through breast cancer. There are women who do die of this disease.
Yes.
Well, I'd just like to thank you so much, but first, can you share with our audience where to find more information about Pink Sisters?
They can definitely find us on the web. If you go to pinksistas.org, yes, and we're also on Facebook and Instagram, so you can find us there. And we've got the Christmas ship viewing coming up December 6th, right? Yes, at the Sextant.
And May 18th, our big gala is coming up too. So thank you so much for coming and joining me.
Thanks.
And I really appreciate having you.
Thanks for having me.
Be so candid with our audience. So that concludes our TV Toastmasters. And I just want to thank you so much for joining us. And again, my name is Deb Hart. I was the host at this particular group of viewing. And I want you, if you're looking for a club, to check out Gresham Toastmasters. Yes, you heard me say Gresham Toastmasters. It's my club. I'll see you there.